Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Solskjaer confirms more signings are coming. Manchester United are not yet finished in this summer transfer window. Manchester United are enduring a very good summer transfer window because Solskjaer is getting the players he wants to recommend in. So far, we have made 3 signings in this summer transfer window. Brought Tom Heaton in on a free transfer from Aston Villa. Brought Jadon Sancho in from Borussia Dortmund. We confirmed the signing of Jadon Sancho last Friday. And we've obviously brought Varane in. Solskjaer has spent over £100 million in this summer transfer window so far. Solskjaer did say though that he wants to make around 4 signings in this summer transfer window. Manchester United now need to focus on some outgoings to finance more incomings. I think Solskjaer's priority now is to get a midfielder, and there has been quite a few midfielders on our agenda. Now, Manchester United have identified Solskjaer as a replacement for Paul Pogba. It says Man United will open talks with Atletico Madrid over signing Solskjaer if Pogba decides to leave the club. We think Atletico Madrid would accept around 50 million for Niguez. Sky Sports said not so long ago that Man United are exploring a move. Mundo Deportivo said the other week that Man United were in advanced talks with Solskjaer's agent, and it said that Man United were the front runners to sign him. Liverpool have been interested in him. Barcelona held talks with Atletico Madrid over a swap deal involving Griezmann and Niguez. Solskjaer is interested in making a move to the Premier League. Niguez has a 129 million release clause. He's under contract with Atletico Madrid until 2026 because back in 2017 he signed a 9-year contract. He's been at Atletico Madrid for 13 years, so he's been a long-serving player, risen up their academy. Can be deployed as a central midfielder or a defensive midfielder. Man United are trying to get Eduardo Camavinga from Rennes. I think he's now our number 1 target, but I think his preference is a move to Spain over Manchester United. We've also been linked with Declan Rice from West Ham. I heard that he's interested in making a move to Man United. We've also been in for Ruben Neves, and narratives came out the other week and said that Man United moved ahead of Arsenal in the race to sign Ruben Neves. It said Wolves are willing to sell him for £35 million. I'd certainly take Ruben Neves because he's been sublime for Wolves. And I think if he came to Man United, he'd replicate what he's done with Wolves. And of course, he's proven in the Premier League, which is beneficial. Sport Bild said not so long ago that Man United submitted a contract offer to sign Leon Goretzka from Bayern Munich on a free transfer in the summer of 2022, which is next summer. But at long last, Solskjaer is getting the backing he deserves because he wasn't backed enough for such a long time. I think now that we've brought Varane in, Man United can be title contenders next season. And Solskjaer's ambition for next season is to win the Premier League. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, which is 8 years ago now. We have won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier League titles. But these United fans that are very sceptical that we're going to win a title under Ole. Not long now until the new season starts. Obviously we've played 3 pre-season friendly games. Obviously we've won 1. We beat Derby 2-1. We've drawn 1. Obviously we drew with Brentford yesterday. And we've lost 1 because we lost to QPR 4-2. But like I mentioned this morning, I'm not bothered about pre-season. Pre-season is just building fitness levels up and preparing for the new season. But next season is going to be massive for Solskjaer, and he is aware of that. Solskjaer has got big expectations to exceed next season. Solskjaer must win a trophy at Manchester United next season, because if he wins a trophy that would be an achievement, and he's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager, and we haven't won a trophy since 2017, which is a good 4 years or so ago now. It's nowhere near good enough to our standards. And Solskjaer needs to improve his decision making, because in a lot of the games he's managed at Manchester United so far he's been tactically naive. Despite us bringing Sancho and Varane in, it doesn't change my perception on Solskjaer. I still don't think he's the long-term manager for Man United, and I think a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. But I think he does need at least another season. You know, there's United fans that are Ole in, there's also United fans that are Ole out. But at some point next season, I'm expecting him to get sacked. You know, who's going to replace Solskjaer if Solskjaer does get sacked? I think we need someone in with that big club mentality, and basically someone who's going to suit the strappings of the club. You know, Ole is our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson. Last weekend, Solskjaer signed a new 3-year contract with Manchester United. So it keeps him at the club until 2024. There is an option of a further year. A lot of United fans are unhappy that he's been given this new 3-year contract, because he won't see out this new contract. You know, Solskjaer's been in charge of Manchester United now for almost 3 years. In a way, I'm surprised he's still Manchester United manager, because we've endured very bad periods under him where he's been extremely close to getting sacked, and we lost that Europa League final last season to Villarreal. But I think with Solskjaer being a club legend, like I've said before, that's what's basically saved his job. We appointed Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. He's been permanent Manchester United manager since March 2019. We gave him the job permanently back in March 2019, reflecting how well he did as the interim manager in that 3-month period. A lot of United fans thought that we made a mistake giving him the job permanently. These things that I've got to give Ollie credit for. He has made good signings as Manchester United manager, even though he wasn't backed enough for so long up until this point. You know, he's getting the backing now, like I mentioned earlier. Solskjaer's spent, is it, over 400 million now in total. You know, in the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January 2020, he brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odi Ighalo in on loan, but we let Ighalo go in January. Last summer, Solskjaer brought Donny van der Beek in, Edison Cavani, Alex Telles, Amad Diallo, Traore and Facundo Pellistri. Pellistri's now back at us, but we did loan him out in January. Last summer we got 4 of those players on deadline day, and in this summer transfer window so far he's brought Heaton, Sancho and Varane in. And he's brought quite a few academy players in. Solskjaer's more or less given everybody their chances to express themselves, including the young players. I like the way Solskjaer develops the youth. Ollie has got us to semi-finals. Got us to the final of the Europa League last season. Got us to the FA Cup quarter-final last season. Solskjaer got us a 3rd place finish in his first full season. He got us a 2nd place finish in his 2nd full season. And Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin, and he knew he had a lot to do when he got appointed in as Man United manager. But you've got to turn around and be honest and say, yes, Solskjaer's done a pretty good job to say the current squad he was left with when he got appointed in as Man United manager, because he was inheriting a lot of deadwood. He's still inheriting some of the deadwood now. You know, he's inheriting De Gea and Jones from the Ferguson era. They are the only 2 here from the Fergie era. He's still inheriting Mata from the Moyes era. He's inheriting some players from the Louis van Gaal era, and he's inheriting some players from the Jose Mourinho era. But I didn't expect Solskjaer to do as well as he has done, so in that aspect I am shocked. But I have criticised Solskjaer a lot during his managerial tenure at Man United. But despite that, I think he is our best manager since Ferguson. But when we have been inconsistent, Solskjaer's been accountable for certain things, but not all of the blame has stemmed from Solskjaer. There's obviously certain players that have had to take responsibility, because there's still certain players at Man United that are not good enough to represent the club. And obviously Woodward, he's been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. Woodward is leaving Manchester United. Woodward has had a 16-year association with the club. The Glazers, they've been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time, because the Glazers have put Manchester United in so much debt. You know, United fans have been demanding the Glazers out. Towards the end of last season, there was a lot of United fans protesting against the Glazers at Old Trafford. Solskjaer did reveal towards the end of last season that the Glazers apologised because they was planning to scrap the Champions League for that European Super League. But the Glazers have been with us for 16 years. They purchased the club for 500 million back in 2005. Said towards the end of last season that the Glazers could have been forced to sell Man United, but for only £4 billion. On the 4th of June, which was early last month, Joe Glazer attended a fans forum, his first attendance in 15, 16 years, and he promised Man United supporters that Solskjaer would get the funds that are available. The players that I think should leave Man United in this summer transfer window, I definitely think we should loan Brandon Williams out to gain him more experience and to get him a lot more opportunities, because Williams is our third choice left back. He seldom plays for us. I think we should offload Alex Telles. I'm not sure if we're gonna though. Alex Telles has been subjected to transfer speculation recently. It said Inter Milan were interested in getting him on loan. The other week, Sky in Italy said that Roma were in talks to sign Alex Telles as a replacement for the injured Leonardo Spinazzola. Telles has only endured one season at Man United. He's made 23 appearances. When we got Telles last year though, I expected him to be our first choice left back immediately. The reason we brought Telles in was to provide competition for Luke Shaw. Telles is set to miss the start of the season with an ankle injury that he picked up in training last week. We got Telles for 15.4 million. He's got a contract with Man United until 2024. We need to offload Phil Jones as well, but I don't think we're going to now, on what Solskjaer's recently said anyway. And now I'm hearing Raphael Varane isn't going to get the ideal number. He's not going to get that number 4 shirt. Obviously Jones currently wears the number 4 at the moment. Jones hasn't played for us since January. Jones is the only outfield player that's still with us from the Ferguson era. He's been a long-serving player at Man United. He's endured 10 years at the club. Tuanzebe is going out on loan because he said Man United have agreed to let him go. I heard Newcastle have been interested in Tuanzebe. Diego Dalot, we've got to offload him. He was out on loan with AC Milan last season. I think we've also got to offload Andres Pereira. He was out on loan with Lazio last season. He did actually score in the 2-2 draw with Brentford. Very good volley as well, came off the crossbar. We've got to offload the Nemanja Matic, I'd say, but I think he's going to be staying with us, Matic, for next season. As you all know, I've got my strong reservations about Matic because, he's always been a static player. Analysing the vast majority of his games at Man United, he's been inconsistent and he's aging up. We got Matic for 40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. I think we certainly should offload Donny van der Beek. Nothing to do with him being a bad player, he just doesn't get enough opportunities at Manchester United. Van der Beek's made like 36 appearances for us in all competitions. But like I said, most of them appearances have come from the bench. I think Van der Beek only started 4 games in the league last season. So I expect him to start a hell of a lot more games than he has done. Said not so long ago that Van der Beek is set to snub interest from Germany, France and Italy to remain at Man United. We got him for £40 million with add-ons included. He's under contract with Man United until 2025. I think there's an option of a further year. And he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Lingard, we've also got to offload him. We're struggling to offload him now. We want around £30 million for Lingard, and West Ham are struggling to meet our asking price. Not so long ago, Solskjaer hinted that Lingard and Martial have a role to play for next season. And after the 2-1 win against Derby, which was our first pre-season friendly, said Solskjaer that Lingard is part of Man United's plans for the new season. Lingard's current contract expires next year. Don't forget last season Lingard endured a 4-month loan spell with West Ham. I definitely think we need to offload Anthony Martial because he's no longer good enough to represent the club. So, there you go. But I've got to analyse our squad now and say it's, a pretty good squad. Especially with Varane and Sancho now in. You know, you've got Dean Henderson, very good goalkeeper. Tom Eaton, you know, he's done well in pre-season to his credit. You know, a lot of United fans are saying that Tom Eaton should start against Leeds. That game against Brentford yesterday night, Tom Eaton was vocal again. It was his first Old Trafford appearance for Man United since 2007. I think De Gea is still a very good goalkeeper despite him making a lot of mistakes in the last couple of years. I reckon De Gea is going to be staying with us for next season. I think Luke Shaw, very, very good left back. I can see he's extending his contract. Harry Maguire, decent centre half. You know, he's had his good games at Man United, he's had his bad games. He was a big miss for us towards the end of last season because he had ligament damage in his ankle. Did well for England though during the tournament. I think we're going to get the best out of Maguire now, with obviously Varane playing alongside him. What a centre-back partnership that is. But we overpaid for Harry Maguire, we got him for 80 million. Eric Bailly, you know, decent centre-half. His future is now in doubt following the arrival of Varane. I think he'll stay with us though for next season. I want him to stay because he's a backup. So if Varane or Harry Maguire get injured, then obviously Bailly is available. Towards the end of last season, Bailly signed a new contract with Man United till 2024. There's an option of a further year. We paid, 30 million for Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016. He's been with us now over 5 years. Wan-Bissaka, you know, he's a very, very good right back. He's one of the best right backs we've had since Gary Neville. Obviously played in the game against Brentford yesterday. Showed some very good attacking intent to his credit. And obviously assisted Anthony Elanga's first goal. Good cross into the box. Defensively, Wan-Bissaka has always been superb. You know, you've got McTominay, that is a decent player, but he's not yet on that level where I want him to be at. I think McTominay certainly needs more time at the club because he's still young, got a lot of development in him. He's been part of the club for a long time as it stands. You know, Pogba, he's really improved. Bruno Fernandes, he's also very, very good. He's one of our best players and he's one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. You know, Greenwood, he's been an absolute revelation since he broke into our senior squad. Despite him going a long period without scoring, Edison Cavani, he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in and I'm glad he's staying for next season. And Marcus Rashford is good when he wants to be. But there's aspects of Rashford's game that's got to improve because Rashford has endured his bad periods at Man United. And he has become injury prone. Rashford is out until October with a shoulder injury. Don't forget he decided to undergo surgery on his shoulder. But we need to keep Rashford out on that left hand side because that's where he seems to be more effective. So there you go. Our squad is good enough to finish at least third. But if we can make 1 or 2 more signings before this window shuts, then I'd turn around and say, now the squad's good enough to win the league, basically. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.